And all of us, I think, need help coping with what happened. Pastor David Johnson with Harvest Point Church of Christ joins us right now. Pastor, thank you for coming down. It is a tough day. It is a rough day. It's a sad day. It's a grieving day. What would you tell your congregation about how to cope with this massacre, this tragedy last night?
Well, we're going to continue to do what we've always done and continue to keep our trust in God, continue to focus and remember that evil cannot prevail. God always has the final say, so we're going to continue to wrap our arms around the community and continue to reach out and offer space and opportunity for people to come. We're offering a prayer vigil on tomorrow evening for the community to come out and pray for the victims and their families and continue to be in support of the Mother Emmanuel AME Church.
Pastor Johnson, a question for you. You just talked about evil. Do you believe there is evil in this world and that what happened last night is an example of that evil?
Oh, yes, definitely. I think only one who is in an evil state can do something, a heinous crime like that.
Why do you think, and I'm asking you for your opinion here, here's a 21-year-old white man. Why do you think, and it appears he had such hatred in his heart for black folks, why do you think that was?
I think that, again, it just because of the evil that's in this world, it could have been full of hatred. It could have come from various things, upbringing, rearing, lack of love.
Mental illness, perhaps,
mental illness, but I think that definitely a sickness had to be involved to do something like that.
How, in your opinion, is the best way for us to cope? We're all grieving. We all need to talk about what happened. We all need to say we need to get this over. We need to get through this. Reverend, I want you to hold on for just a second with those thoughts. I want to go now to Scott Pelley with CBS for an update. Here's Scott.
Watching this gentleman on the CBS Evening News. This is Scott Pelley, the National News evening anchor. Tell me the thoughts that have gone through your head as you anchor another tragedy, another national tragedy.
Well, Raphael, I think a lot of people in the country are thinking, here we go again. It seems to happen over and over again, which was the point that President Obama was making from the White House earlier today. It is, from the perspective of not a reporter but an American citizen, in a way it's sort of exhausting. You can't believe that these things are going to happen again and again. So senseless. I mean, these were Wednesday church people. There's no one in the church is more hardcore than the people who go to church on Wednesday. And to have their lives snuffed out in this way, such a senseless tragedy.
Thank you so much for taking the time.
I'm going to come back to you, Scott and Raphael, but right now I just wanted to break in and tell you, this is the picture right now. This is the van with the suspect in it at the Charleston County Detention Center. He's about to be brought out of this vehicle and placed in solitary confinement, Hart Jacobs says, for his own protection. Once again, live pictures at the Charleston County Detention Center. It's called the Al Cannon Detention Center, where this 21-year-old young man, Dylan Roof, is about to be brought out of the vehicle, the truck here, the SUV, and placed in solitary confinement. You're looking at live pictures from the scene. There he is right now. He's being taken out and taken into the jail. This is after a short flight here to Charleston from Shelby, North Carolina. You see some people running after him right now. And he was apparently wearing a bulletproof vest, as you would expect, when he got out of that official vehicle and was escorted in to the Charleston County Detention Center. I believe that was the suspect right now we saw just now going into the detention center. Let's see if this car pulls off. These are live pictures you're watching right now at the Al Cannon Detention Center. So it looks as if the suspect has been successfully transferred into jail after having been flown here just a few minutes ago from Shelby, North Carolina, aboard that small plane. This is the transport car now coming out of the breezeway at the Al Cannon Detention Center. And once again, it was tough to ascertain for sure, but we believe that the suspect has already been taken out and placed in detention at the Al Cannon Detention Center. He will be put in isolation for his own protection. Live pictures from the Al Cannon Detention Center. Now, this occurred after he was flown from Shelby, North Carolina, about an hour and a half ago down here to Charleston. That plane arrived at 11 minutes after 7 o'clock. Harv Jacobs was there, our police reporter at Atlantic Aviation, a small airport very close by the Charleston International Airport. And then he was brought from there here to the Al Cannon Detention Center. Let's go to Karina Bolster. Karina, can you hear me there at the Al Cannon Detention Center? What's the latest from your perspective?
I can hear you, Bill.
Bring us up to speed.
From what we saw, we did see Dylan Roof head into the doors inside the detention center. Now, like I said, you saw it right here on Live 5 News. He was walking, flanked by plenty of police officers as well. And from what I could see, it looked like they had the SWAT team, or not the SWAT team, the SOG group that's here at the detention center that was also flanking him as well. Now, he was either in one of three vehicles. There was an unmarked blue van that was up there, and there was also multiple K9 vans and smaller vehicles at that time too. So he was in one of the three. I think it was one of the last ones. But as you saw, Dylan Roof was taken into the Al Cannon Detention Center at this point. We are over to my right-hand side. There are some people in the public that have been here watching, waiting to see him be taken into the detention center at this time. And as Harv Jacobs has been reporting, as of recent, he is scheduled for his bond court meeting at 2 p.m. tomorrow right here via video conference from the Al Cannon Detention Center. For right now, this is about all you're seeing right now. There is still a high law enforcement presence here right now, at least, just trying to keep control of the situation. We were asked to move back several times away from the gate just because they told us it was a high precautionary measure, given the fact that Dylan Roof was headed into the detention center. Bill?
Karina Bolster live at the Al Cannon Detention Center in Charleston County. So less than 24 hours after that brutal massacre occurred, the suspect now back here in Charleston at the Al Cannon Detention Center, and he will be put in isolation to protect him for his own safety. Let's go back out to Raphael James. He's at the People's Corner. He was talking to Scott Pelley of the CBS Evening News. Raphael, I apologize to you and Scott for interrupting, but we wanted to show the suspect being taken into the Al Cannon Detention Center.
Sure, totally understandable, Bill. Scott Pelley's been gracious enough to stand with us and continue our conversation. I was just asking you, you cover these tragedies all over the country. Is Charleston any different from any of the others? Are there similarities? What are the similarities? What are the differences?
Well, you see communities come together at times like these. I saw it in Newtown after the school shooting. I saw it in Aurora, Colorado after the theater shooting. And I'm seeing the same thing again right here. I think the mayor, the police department, citizens of the city have done a great job coming together. And because this struck the faith-based community, there's a reservoir there of resilience that the ministers have. And I think that's going to help the community come much further, much faster than might have been possible otherwise.
And one thing you hint on that's a big part of this is the faith-based part of it. These people were in church praying, the most sacred sanctuary you could have, and they don't feel safe. Do you feel like this is going to change the way we worship it?
I don't think so. I think this is an isolated incident, a horrible tragedy that won't be forgotten, but an isolated incident. I certainly hope so. I believe the nation is so shocked and revolted by what happened last night that I think our churches, our synagogues, our mosques are going to be sanctuaries well into the future.
Thank you very much for your time. We appreciate you taking the time.
Good to be with you, Raphael. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you very much. Bill, back to you in the studio.
Raphael, thank you so much. Scott Pelley, we appreciate your stopping by to talk to us as well. He called it a reservoir of resilience that we in the Low Country and the ministers and the people of faith have. after this deadly tragedy last night at Mother Emanuel AME Church. Folks, our coverage will continue throughout the evening here on what we're calling the Mother Emanuel AME Church Massacre. When we're not on the air, we invite you to go to our website for the latest information at live5news.com. We've got people who are updating that moment by moment. So it has the very latest information. Our website does. Again, it's live5news.com. And we also have a rundown and a tribute to each of the victims murdered last night, all 9 of them. The oldest was 87, a woman. The youngest was 26, a young man. Just 2 years, actually 1 year out of college. Here now is a look at the victims from last night's massacre at the Mother Emanuel AME Church. Thank you for joining us tonight, and to remind you, we will be breaking in throughout the evening, if necessary, to bring you updates on this tragedy. Once again, you have been watching and seeing the suspect brought from Shelby, North Carolina, where he was arrested at 11 minutes before 11 o'clock this morning. Now he's back in isolation, or soon will be, at the Al Cannon Detention Center. For all of us here at Live 5, I'm Bill Sharp. Thanks for joining us, and good night.